I'm Algenon Cash, and you're locked in. Today, we have a special guest and special friend, Jessica Ford. Jessica is a full time content creator with a growing and engaged audience, and she's hyper focused on promoting small business owners. And her work is making a big impact in our community. Jessica, thank you so much for locking in with me today. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Well, Jessica, you are more than just a guest. You have become a real friend over this year. I had the pleasure of meeting you earlier in the year at a Winston-Salem Dash event where they invited content creators in to take a look at their new menu rollout. And I have been a huge fan of yours ever since. And I'm so grateful that we had a chance for our paths to cross and we've been able to grow together. Just to get started, your journey as a content creator for me has been really inspiring, and I think as my audience learns more about you, they will be inspired as well. I really love your hyper focus on small business. Just talk a little bit about what first inspired you to create content, and why are you so passionate about our local community?
Yeah, great question. I've been doing content seriously for about almost 7 months now, and it kind of just started out of just my passion for creativity. Well, first of all, I went to UNC Charlotte and I majored in mass media and journalism. So that has always been my passion and my interest. So I found my path through content creation, and I started with me and my husband, or then my fiance, going out on dates. And I just love taking pictures and videos of him and us. So it kind of started that way, as going out on dates and just posting our whereabouts online. And the more people would follow us, they would get interested and wanted to know more about where we were going. So it just sprung from there.
And I would be remiss if I did not give a shout out to my new friend Andrew as well, and that is Jessica's husband. And you really have to be around them at the same time, and there's a same certain kind of energy and vibe that comes from them and the relationship. For anyone that does not believe you cannot feel love from an entire another couple, you need to hang out with Jessica and Andrew for just one single night, but he is also a big part of the team. I mean, he's not just your husband, he's not just your friend, he's like co-producer of all the
Yeah.
reels and posts that you make. Talk a little bit about that part of it. How important is it to have someone beside you that's so supportive of your vision?
It's huge because I feel like not everybody is like cut out for that, because my husband, he's an accountant by day, and then my co-producer by night. But he's very, very, very patient, and he's known from the start, ever since he met me, that I was into that. And him and I are opposite on that front. Like I mean, he has social media, but not in the same way that I do. I think that he has maybe like 4 posts, and like all of them are like literally of me. That's it. And so, but he's very understanding, and I think he knows what he got into, but I don't think I could do half what I do without him. I always say it's a two-person job, and to have that support literally means everything to me. I mean, he's always down for whatever ideas I have. He's always like, how can I help? What can I do? And I think he likes it too. He low key likes being on camera and likes helping me in his little time to shine. So we have fun with it. It's a lot of fun.
I can attest that he definitely enjoys it. I mean,
Mhm.
he's smiling the entire time. And Jessica, I would agree with you. I've been producing content for many years myself, and when you've got a partner and you've got someone that is supporting you, not just physically supporting you and producing the content, but I think also emotionally and mentally supporting you, because most people don't think they think you just go out and eat all the time and shoot video. I mean, this is a real job. It requires a lot of energy to build an audience and convince people to follow your recommendations. And so I think this is it takes a significant effort. You've built a really strong connection with your audience. What do you think it is about your approach or your content that resonates so well with them?
I love that question. I love to make it fun and make it relatable, but also make it informative. I think one thing that made my social media following grow recently is to show people quote unquote what they're missing. I notice a lot of people do the same things, like they go to the same places. So when they see me and my husband go out and about, I think that that inspires them to try new things. And like I was talking to another content creator recently, and like something as simple as like me taking a bite, when they see me engaging with the food or other people engaging with the food, they can kind of reimagine themselves doing the same thing. So I would say consistency, always finding new hidden gems to cover, small businesses to cover. I think that really inspires people to get out and about and try what I try.
I love that advice about discovering, or I oftentimes say rediscover, right? Because a lot of
Yeah,
times people might know about these places they just haven't been in quite a while.
right.
As you keep growing your page and growing your following, how do you keep that connection engaged? How do you keep the content fresh and keep finding these hidden gems?
That's a good question. I always have my eye out for places that I want to visit. I literally have a running list of places that I want to go. I'm always on social media, so I follow different accounts that post like new restaurants coming to town, new events coming, this and that. So whenever I see something online that I want to go to, I just write it down, and me and Angie we just go through our list. For example, Betty on Burke, the restaurant just opened. The same owners of Moselle's opened a new restaurant. That's on my list. There's a new bakery in Winston-Salem on my list. So I just, as I consume content and see new things, I just that's where I get my inspiration from.
Well, I'll tell my audience, many of the places that you've seen me highlight, I've actually learned and discovered by following and watching Jessica. So I encourage you to go out and make sure you're following her on Instagram. Jessica, are you on Facebook as well, or?
I am. So I just started cross posting. Originally my Facebook was just like it was small, family and friends. But as I cross post, I find a lot of people find my content valuable on there as well. So I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts.
Wow. You know, and from my audience, when you do find Jessica and you watch some of her video and some of her reels, the thing that stands out the most to me, Jessica, about all your content is your voice. And you always you narrate your reels. I never narrate a lot of my content. I just sort of let the content speak for itself. But I love the way you go in and add that extra touch and the narration. And you have this really like soothing voice too it sort of keeps you engaged in the content as you're going through the reel. How important do you think that part of it is? Just like those added kind of touches.
I love the voice. It's like a love-hate relationship, actually. Like I love doing the voiceover because it adds a lot of value because people can see with their eyes, but when you add that extra layer of information, they get even more context from what you're doing. And you can kind of like explain and almost handhold in a sense because when you're consuming content people don't want to think too much, they want you to tell them everything, and so that's what I'm here to do. So I don't want my audience digging for information, where I'm at, what I'm doing, did I like it, all that. I just tell them everything up front, the address and all that. So I think it's very important for my content, for my style to do the voiceover. But it is hard. It is the hardest part of the voiceover. And I've kind of had a love-hate relationship with my voice all my life. People have kind of commented on it when I was a kid. I never got that until I started doing content and I can hear myself and now I hear what people are saying. But it's fun and I've learned to love it, but it's really, really, really hard. I like each clip I do takes at least 2 or 3 tries to get like the tone of what I'm saying just right. If I'm too high, if I'm too low, like it's tough to get it just right. And it's the longest part of the process by far.
You know, I was watching one of your posts on Instagram and I saw one of your audience members comment and say, "Hey, why didn't you tell us the entire menu?" Because a lot of times they want to know everything that's at the restaurant. They cannot go online. They can't go to the website. They want Jessica to tell them everything that's at the website
Yes.
or at the restaurant. Talk about that from the creative process. I mean, you know these reels can't be but so long. So how challenging is it when you're actually in the production process?
Very challenging. The more my audience grows, the more I get questions or comments like that. Like it's nearly impossible to please everybody because everyone has a different taste or like different thing they're looking for when it comes to watching content. But when I make my reels, there's certain things that I focus on. I focus on the who, what, where, when, and why. And my videos are anywhere from 40 to 55 seconds is my sweet spot. That gives me just enough time to touch on everything with not too much detail. So I like to touch on where I'm at, what I'm doing, who I'm with, what I'm eating, and a little bit about the establishment. But if I go into too much detail, then the video gets too long. So I always tell everyone there's an art to that, to keep people engaged, but also informed in a very, very, very short amount of time. It is very difficult. And I find that people, because they are scrolling, they like to see and hear the information like immediately. So it's almost like I have to say everything at once. And my biggest comments are, what's the address? What's the address? Even though I say the address in every video at the end, nobody watches to the end to hear the address. So they comment before they actually watch to the end. And that is frustrating as a creator, but because everyone just wants to hear everything like all at once. So but that's kind of just the name of the game. But yeah, it's hard, but that's why I do the voiceover to tell as much information as possible. So people do have the option to watch the full video if they would like to get all the information.
And I just want to say to my audience, because y'all do this to me a lot. What she just described about always wanting every little piece of information, the address, the phone number, the website. When I post something, stop criticizing me because I forgot to put the address or I didn't put the website or the phone number. I'm telling you the place to go. All you got to do is go look it up on Facebook. Go check out their webpage. Sometimes us as creators, we just can't remember every single thing, Jessica, but
Exactly.
they will definitely say something about it.
They will. And the thing is, too, like just to piggyback off of that, I feel like our job as a creator is to get people interested, to spark the interest of the people. So if they are interested, which not everybody will be, if they're interested, they can go. And I always tag the place I'm at. They can click on the tagged place and then see more information from the establishment themselves. But, in the digital age of most people, 99.9% of people have smartphones. If
mm,
they're consuming the content, I'm assuming they're on a smartphone. So if they're asking for the address, I'm not sure if they realize they can go to their Apple Maps and type in XYZ place that I'm at, and it'll pop right up. So I think people kind of they want that information at hand. So it's tough sometimes, but yeah,
Jessica, you may need to make a reel on how to find the restaurant.
I should.
So when you hear the name, here's 5 ways that you can pick up the restaurant on your own, either through
Right.
apps, internet, whatever the search might be. How you talked about the length of one of your reels or videos somewhere between 45 and 55 seconds. How much content are you recording? How much where what are you editing down from? Is that 30 minutes? Is that an hour worth of video? How much content are you shooting when you go out to the business?
When I shoot, I probably shoot about anywhere from 5 minutes to 7 minutes worth of content that I dwindle down to about 50 seconds, give or take.
Wow.
So yeah, and sometimes more. I had a video recently, can't remember which one. It was 14 minutes that I made into like 40 seconds. So it's hard, and that's also the lengthiest part of the process is going through each clip and clipping the best clip of the clip for the video. It takes a long time.
Well, let's stay there for a moment. Give my audience sort of a peek inside the mind of Jessica. Talk a little bit about the process. How do you? I mean, there you said you got a list, so there's all these businesses that you would like to cover. How do you actually select the one you're going to do for that week or that day? But then also, as you're producing the video, what are you telling yourself? How are you finding that perfect clip that then comes together to put the reel together?
Yeah, so now that I've been doing this for quite a while, it's kind of like second nature to me. But as far as finding where I'm going to go, just depends on what fits in my schedule for the day or for the week. Um, and usually, me and Andrew will go to maybe two or three spots during the week, and then I'll film. Usually, when we go out, it's on the weekend, and then 'cause that's when we have the most time. And then I'll get all my clips, and then I will go home and then edit them all and have them ready to post throughout the week. That's typically how it goes. But as far as the process of creating the reel, I literally my camera I have to buy extra storage on my phone because it's crazy. It's crazy the amount of content I have. But I go on my camera roll and I select the clips that are look the best because some clips don't turn out right or we have to redo them. So I select the best clips and I upload them in CapCut is the free software I have on my phone to edit. And then once I upload the clips in CapCut, then I rearrange them in the order I want them because every time I film, like the order in which I film is not always the order in which they're in the reel. So I put them in order, put the clips in order of which I want them, and then I cut them down. I do a rough cut. So I cut, say the clips end up being 5 minutes, I'll do a rough cut to get it down to about 2 minutes. I do another rough cut and I'll keep cutting and I keep cutting and I keep cutting until it's at about 45 seconds. And then I'll maybe rearrange a little bit more because by that point I'm thinking of my voiceover because I don't write my voiceover. I just kind of say it.
Hmm.
I have my certain points I'll always say in every video. So I rearrange the clips in the order of what I want to say. It's hard to explain, but I rearrange the clips how I want to say them. Then once they're perfectly laid out, I'll add like little transitions. CapCut offers like you can do black fades, you can do different little transitions that make the clips look better. They look more enhanced, I guess. Then I color grade. So you can do like enhance the colors in the video. And then after everything's laid out perfectly, color graded transitions, then I go in and I say my voiceover. Then I add the music. Then I write the caption, hashtags. All of it takes about an hour and a half.
Wow, 90 minutes, folks. 90 minutes to produce a video that's going to be about 40 or 55 seconds long. Jessica, I'm going to tell you, I've actually been on site while you're actually recording your video, and I just want my audience to know she does not take this lightly. She takes it very, very seriously. She will even make me up my game. So because I'm watching her and I'm watching what she's doing, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to up my game so I can put something out just as impressive as Jessica. So she takes this very serious. Jessica, this isn't a game. A lot of people that watch these reels or they watch the YouTube shorts or whatever the content is they're consuming, they think this is easy. They think anyone can be a content creator. What would you say to that person?
I just had this conversation with Andrew 2 days ago. People do think it's easy because it looks easy and it looks fun, and it is fun for me. But it is not easy. And I think a lot of people try it, but they tap out really soon because they realize how much work goes into it. Or at least how much work goes into a video that is looks like a lot of work went into it. Like it's tough work, and also it's really hard learning the platform or learning the editing software. I think people get frustrated with that, like how do I add a voiceover, how do I add music, how do I add a transition? All of that is a huge learning curve. I think a lot of places people get caught up is the confidence to film in public is a
Mm,
huge thing. It's a huge thing that's the reason it took me so long to get started. Like everyone's staring at you. I have this, you've seen it, the light I use when I'm filming food. Like if you're in a nice restaurant, here I am with this huge light doing the most. Everyone's kind of like looking. I mean, you can feel the eyeballs on you. Most people won't say anything because they just kind of assume, this person might be on social media, but it's awkward filming, and I'm have like my goofy little smile and like, doing whatever. So I mean, if a person isn't ready for the stares and the questions and like feeling weird, then that's a huge thing too. Also I noticed a lot of people say like, I want to get started with content, but I don't know what people will say about me. I had that same feeling when I started. Like it's awkward because at first only like my close friends on Instagram knew, about it, but now at this point, it's like everybody knows. Even people that I didn't know, like I have the most random people that I haven't seen in God knows how long be like, oh, I saw you. I was at the bank the other day and I have the same bank teller. She's been my bank person for a long time. And she's maybe 50 something. And she's like, girl, I saw you on TikTok. And like it kind of took me back a little bit. I was like, oh my God, like at this point, I can't hide anymore. Everyone at my church has seen my stuff. my dad, my stepdad, everybody in my family, people that I didn't even know. Like at this point, the gag is out, secret's out, everyone knows. So that's another thing too, like, because people that know me in real life don't necessarily see me as this like social media content person. I'm like a regular person to them. So like going from regular me to like social media me is like kind of weird at first because some people make fun of it. I mean, some people think it's cool, some people think it's weird. So it's just getting over the what will people think of me thing is a big hurdle too.
I think that's great advice you're providing. Just being able to trust your own intuition and your own authenticity. You talked earlier about the love-hate relationship that you've had with your own voice. And I think so many people have certain limiting beliefs about themselves or things about themselves that they're not as comfortable with. And that makes it very difficult to fully express yourself when you're not comfortable in your own skin. And I think the advice that you're giving is critically important. And I hope my audience isn't missing that. That you have to learn to just love yourself and be comfortable with yourself, be comfortable with your own voice, be comfortable with your own creativity. And I've found, Jessica, that when you're comfortable with yourself and you can love yourself in that kind of way, you sort of find your audience, right? Like everybody's not going to be for you. Everybody's not going to want to consume the content that you're producing. But if you're authentic and you trust yourself, it's almost like a natural unfolding. You sort of discover your own audience. Would you agree with that? Or
Absolutely. Absolutely. I fully agree with that too. Recently, like when I started getting on social media, I started getting more comfortable on camera. I lost a little bit of weight. I felt good about myself. So like how you feel about yourself is critical to how you produce content. I think that's the biggest thing that trips people up is how they feel about themselves because it's tough seeing yourself on camera and you're putting yourself out there for everybody to see, especially when it comes to the food scene. Like that's one thing I always think about, like I'm not the skinniest person in the world. So like how will it look if I'm like constantly eating? That opens yourself up to like really rude comments about how you look,
Hmm.
your weight. I mean, literally anything. And I've been very fortunate that I haven't got a lot of comments like, stop eating or why are you always eating or why are you showing off food all the time? Because people can be very, 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 very critical online. So you have to kind of have that tough skin. And that's something that I'm still working on too. Even if I mean, honestly, like the least little negative comment, because I do put in so much effort into my content and I really want to make sure it's right, it's crisp before it goes out. So when you get that least little negative comment, it does annoy me a lot, but it could be a lot worse. But just constantly working on your thick skin and just your ability to ignore the ignorant and just keep moving forward, it's critical for sure.
That is terrific advice. I just want to tell anyone that is listening, if you decide that you want to go bully or pick on Jessica, you'll have to deal with Algenon for sure. But no, all jokes aside, I want to thank everybody for locking in. You're locked in with Algenon Cash. The other voice that you hear today is Jessica Ford. She's a full-time content creator, and I'm so grateful that she's locking in to help us better understand the world, the behind the scenes world of content creation. Jessica, they say imitation is the best flattery. You were the first person that I ever heard say, "Hey, Winston-Salem," or "Hey, Greensboro." I hear that from a lot of people now. And listen, if you listening to the show, I'm not accusing you. I'm not saying you took it from Jessica. I'm saying that maybe you heard it, you thought it was a great idea, you decided to use it. What's that feel like, Jessica, when you come up with your own sayings or you come up with your own little thing for your content or your reels, and then all of a sudden you see that popping
Hmm.
up in other places?
It's hard, and you're not the only person that's noticed it because I have noticed it myself, and I all I can do is laugh at this point because I know exactly where they got it from. And I just have to say, what you just said, imitation is a best form of flattery, and I just have to take it like that and keep moving forward. Because that's all I can do. At first it would really aggravate me, like, can they not think of their own saying? That was my thing, and it still is my thing. And at first it would definitely grind my gears for sure. Because I see it all the time now. I see it all the time from certain people, and I just have to let it go because if I don't, I will get upset. So it's tough,
But
but I
also,
just keep
but
it
how
moving.
also how much does that? I mean, because I've gotten to know you throughout the year. My audience is just now meeting you right now, but I'm going to tell my audience. I mean, Jessica is super creative and comes up with a lot of great ideas. But when you see someone imitating your content creation or the content that you're publishing, does that just motivate you more to come up with new things or new ideas or find ways to just stay on top of everything?
Yes, for sure. And me and Andrew talk about that too, because I talk about him when people imitate me, and he's like, well, it's opportunity for you to do more. And, like, don't get um don't get settled in what you're doing, like always find a way to do more. And I think that's great advice from him. So yeah, it definitely encourages me to do more and think of more, because people are watching. And the thing that irritates me most about the people who imitate is it's never the people that are true fans of your work.
Mm.
It's always the people in the background who watch you but never like the post, never comment, never engage, are the first ones to always copy you. So, I take that into consideration too. Not everybody is your friend on the internet. Not everyone is cheering you on. Not everyone really wants the best for you. So, I just kind of take that in stride and just find ways to do more.
And for my audience who's been following me for so long, everything Jessica just said, you've heard from me. This is the reason why you constantly see me doing more and more and more and always trying to become better and better and better. You rarely hear me talk a lot about what I did yesterday or what I did last year or what I did 5 years ago. You always hear me talking about what I'm getting ready to do, what I'm preparing to do, what I'm evolving into. And the reason you have to do that is because that's how you constantly stay ahead. You got to lock in on what your vision is, and you got to be constantly moving forward, constantly evolving, never looking at the person to the left or to the right, always looking at your own lane, always focused on your own finish line. And Jessica, I can tell that you're someone that does the same. You're now a full-time content creator. I know you are looking for gigs. So if you're a business owner out there and you're listening to the show, I want you to get in touch with Jessica. She could help truly grow your business through social media. What's next for you, Jessica? What's on the horizon?
I love that question. Keep staying consistent, keep finding new opportunities, ways to help businesses, especially small businesses, grow. Keep being creative, looking for new ways to get involved in the community. And I'm always open to new opportunities. So yeah, my thing is consistency right now. Consistency and quality is my two top things right now.
Jessica, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show. Your dedication to promoting small businesses and just building community is truly inspiring. Before we go, though, I want you to make sure you truly make sure my audience can connect with you and engage with you. So drop your social media handles, website, whatever you want to share. Let them know how they can follow up with you.
Absolutely. So my main spot is Instagram. Instagram is my main platform. You can find me at underscore Jessica Lee Ford. That's JESSICA LEEFORD.
Jessica, as always, thank you for locking in. We'll be keeping an eye out for all the great work that you have coming up. And to our listeners, thank you for locking in. We'll definitely be back with more insightful conversations. But until then, make sure you are tuned in to WTOB because every Sunday morning, that's where the Locked In Show broadcasts. But if you happen to miss me there, you can always catch me on Spotify, Apple, Pandora, wherever you like to get your favorite podcasts. You can always lock in there. And until next time, y'all stay locked in.
Bye.